You quit drinking, but why does it still feel so hard to get through the day? If you're tired of struggling in silence, this is the episode you've been waiting for. A few years ago, a woman booked a call with me. She'd been sober for a while, wasn't drinking, wasn't partying, wasn't in chaos. But when we got on that Zoom, she just looked tired, not physically tired, but emotionally worn out. And she said to me, Angela, I feel like I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do, but it's still hard. I still think about drinking all the time. I still feel anxious every day, and I don't know what else to try. And I knew exactly what she meant, because that's the part nobody talks about. When you've quit drinking, but the struggle hasn't quit you. You're not falling apart, but you're not thriving either. You're showing up, but it still feels like a daily battle. And somewhere deep down, you're wondering, is it always going to feel like this? If that's where you are right now, this episode is for you, because sobriety shouldn't feel like a fight every day. It should feel like freedom. And today I'm going to show you exactly how to create that freedom for yourself. Let's talk about what to do when sobriety still feels like a constant battle.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Addiction Unlimited podcast, where you get to learn everything you want to know about addiction and recovery. I'm your host, Angela Pugh, co-founder of Kansas City Recovery, life coach, and recovering alcoholic. To learn more about me, you can listen to episode 0 on your podcast app or find us on the web at addictionunlimited.com.
Hello, my friend. Welcome back to another episode of the Addiction Unlimited podcast. I'm your coach, Angela Pugh, master coach, recovery pro, and someone who's been sober for 19 years with 0 relapses. I've helped thousands of high-functioning people get clear, get free, and stay sober for the long haul. And if you're ready to step out of the moderation loop and yo-yo sobriety and step into your power, you are in the right place. So let's get real about something most people don't talk about: the silent struggle of being sober but still struggling. You quit drinking, people congratulated you, maybe you posted your day count, joined a group, downloaded a tracker, you even started journaling. But deep down, it still feels like you're just barely holding it together. Stressful moments send you into a spiral. Every craving feels like a test of sheer willpower. And sometimes maybe that thought creeps in, shouldn't this feel better by now? This is white-knuckling it. When you're sober, but not free, surviving, not thriving. And what no one tells you is that's not recovery. That's emotional burnout. You've heard me say this before. Sober is quitting the substance. Recovery is healing so you don't go back to the substance. If you don't have tools to regulate your stress, manage your emotions, and reset your nervous system, then every single day will feel like an uphill battle. It's not about drinking. It's about relief. Your brain doesn't care about a cocktail. It cares about feeling calm, safe, and in control. So let's talk about what's happening inside your body and brain that's making this feel so hard. Not to overwhelm you, but to empower you. Because if you've been thinking, what's wrong with me? I want you to know this. You're not crazy. You're healing. And the first thing I want to talk about is this feeling of why don't I feel happy? Even after quitting, so many people feel this emotional flatline, like they should be happy or proud or energized, but instead you feel numb or indifferent. This is called anhedonia. It's a common part of early and mid sobriety. Anhedonia is the inability to feel pleasure. It's when things you used to enjoy, your favorite music, food, hobbies, even time with your kids, they just don't light you up anymore. It can feel like emotional numbness, a complete lack of motivation, no spark, disinterest in things that should feel good. and feeling like, what's the point or why bother? This is not laziness or depression, although it can overlap. It's actually a result of what's happening in your brain after quitting alcohol. When you drink regularly, alcohol hijacks your brain's reward system, especially dopamine. Dopamine is the neurotransmitter responsible for motivation, anticipating reward, right? That's why it drives us so strongly. Emotional highs, pleasure, and satisfaction. Over time, your brain downregulates dopamine production because it's getting that feel-good spike from alcohol. It also reduces dopamine receptors, meaning it becomes harder for your brain to even receive or process pleasure from normal things. So when you quit drinking, your brain is low on dopamine. You don't get the same positive feedback loop from healthy behaviors. Everything feels dull, flat, and like it just takes a ton of freaking effort. And this can last weeks or even months, depending on how long or how heavily you drank. One of my clients told me, I used to love cooking dinner with the music on. Now it just feels like a chore. That's anhedonia. She thought she was depressed. She thought something was wrong with her, but really it was just her brain healing from alcohol. So why does this matter for your sobriety? Anhedonia is dangerous because it makes you feel like sobriety isn't worth it. It robs you of the motivation to do the things that would actually help you feel better. And it can become a trigger for relapse because you're chasing the feeling that alcohol used to give you. So what do we do about this? Well, here's what works. It's everything we talk about weekly on this podcast. One, routine. Even if you don't feel like it, keep doing the small things that used to bring you joy. Do dopamine resets, cold showers, exercise, new activities. Any novelty is a great dopamine thing. Sunlight, music. There are millions of these. Google this if you're interested. There's so much in the world about dopamine. This is such a major thing. But Google dopamine resets and it'll tell you a million things you can do. Connection. Talking to other sober people triggers oxytocin and serotonin. These are also key mood regulators. Anything we can do to trigger those, we want to do. So talk to other sober people, get connected. Structure. Use tools like a planner, like my 90-day focus planner is getting ready to come out. Use a planner to stay grounded and avoid emotional chaos, right? We have to have some structure. But most importantly, give it time. Your brain will recalibrate. The joy will come back, but it comes through repetition, not waiting for it, not waiting for inspiration, right? This isn't the moment where you wait for joy to come to you. You create it. You're not doing it wrong. You're just recovering from a brain that's been chemically hijacked by alcohol. Dopamine, serotonin, your reward system, it all needs time to heal. Some days you may wake up and it's like nothing feels good. You're not happy, not excited, just numb. You used to get fake joy from a drink. Now your brain is learning how to feel real joy again. And that's a process, but it does come back. It's the same with post-acute withdrawal. You're months in and maybe you're still super forgetful. You're crying for no reason or feeling like your emotions are just too much. That's not you failing. That's your nervous system doing what it needs to do. Why does it still feel hard months later? People expect early withdrawal symptoms to fade quickly. But post-acute withdrawal symptoms can last 6 to 12 months or sometimes longer. It's the brain and body recalibrating, and it's totally normal to feel brain fog and to feel overly emotional, tired, irritable, anxious. Pause is what happens when your body is sober, but your brain is still catching up. When you quit drinking, your body starts detoxing almost immediately, right? The acute withdrawal phase, the first, I don't know. Sometimes they say 5 to 10 days. I say 14 days. This is what people expect. The headaches, shaking, sweating, anxiety, insomnia, right? It's a hangover. But post-acute withdrawal starts after that, sometimes weeks or months later. And that's what catches most people off guard. If you're several months in and thinking, why am I still crying randomly or forgetting everything? It's probably post-acute withdrawal. It's not a personality flaw and it's not permanent. Keep that in mind too. It's healing. So what's actually happening in your brain? Again, alcohol impacts your brain's neurotransmitters, especially dopamine, which is your brain's reward and motivation chemical, GABA, the one that helps you feel calm, and glutamate is the excitatory chemical that makes you alert. When you've been drinking regularly, your brain stops producing these chemicals normally. Why? Because it was relying on alcohol to artificially regulate them. Your brain literally rewires itself to function with alcohol present. So when you quit drinking, your brain's entire neurochemical balance is disrupted. It's trying to figure out how to feel joy again without dopamine spikes from alcohol, how to calm down without GABA boosts, how to function normally without being overstimulated by excess glutamate. In real life, this presents as mood swings and irritability, low motivation, like you just can't get moving, right? Sleep disturbances, either you're sleeping too much, you're constantly fatigued, or insomnia, memory lapses and brain fog, anxiety and restlessness, depression or that emotional numbness, cravings, and not always for alcohol, but for anything that brings relief. And I want all my people struggling with food and sugar to hear this, right? Cravings, not always for alcohol, but for anything that brings relief. And the big kicker is they come in waves. You might feel great for 2 weeks and then randomly feel like your brain has short-circuited again. So if you find yourself saying things like, I should feel better by now. Like, why am I so anxious? What's wrong with me? Don't start blaming yourself like you're doing something wrong. Your brain is just in recovery mode, trying to rebuild its natural rhythm without the artificial high of alcohol. So let's break this down. You're doing life, right? Job, family, relationships, laundry, bills, maybe even trying to heal old wounds. And you're doing it all without the coping mechanism you relied on for years. That's a lot. You didn't just quit drinking. You quit your solution to every hard thing in your life. And if you've been using alcohol for 5, 10, 20 years, your brain is wired to expect a drink when life gets uncomfortable. That wiring doesn't disappear overnight. It's like having an old default setting that still runs in the background, even when you're trying to run a new program. And when you feel like you're just reacting all day, you're living in emotional survival mode. No wonder sobriety feels hard. You've removed the drink, but you haven't replaced the relief it gave you. That's where emotional sobriety comes in. Emotional sobriety is your ability to stay centered, clear, and calm even when life is chaotic. It's what actually makes sobriety sustainable. And here's the good news, you can learn it. And even better news, I created a resource for you to go with this episode so you don't have to feverishly take notes or stress if you're listening to this while you're on a run. I created the Emotional Sobriety Survival Kit because if you want sobriety to feel less like a battle, you have to know what's triggering your cravings and emotional overwhelm in the first place. In the Emotional Sobriety Survival Kit, I walk you through the 7 emotional triggers that sabotage sobriety, and I'm going to share those with you right now. And I give you a tool for each to conquer them, right? So go download that now at addictionunlimited.com/emotional sobriety. It's also in the show notes, addictionunlimited.com/emotional sobriety. And the first trigger we're going to talk about is stress. This is the most obvious, the most common. When your body is tense and your mind is racing, alcohol looks like relief. The tool is micro breaks throughout your day to reset your nervous system. And I think I included breath work with this one. And each of these in the emotional sobriety survival kit, I also link you to websites with more information on the tools, right? So you can dig a little bit deeper to understand them better. You have all the resources right in that guide, addictionunlimited.com/emotional sobriety. Number 2 is overwhelm. You're juggling everything, work, kids, meals, emotions, and you never get to just be still. You reach for wine, not because you want to party, but because your system is fried. So the tool I put in here is the power of one, right? The power of one task, one breath, one step at a time. Number 3 is loneliness or disconnection. Even if you're surrounded by people, you can still feel isolated, especially if you're the only one not drinking. And what do I always tell you in almost every episode? Alcohol needs a very specific set of circumstances to thrive. It needs you to feel alone, it needs you to feel isolated, and it needs you to feel like crap about yourself. So isolation isn't always about being alone. You can be emotionally isolated, right? This is one of my specialties. I can be around a whole bunch of people, but if I'm not sharing myself emotionally, really sharing my experience of what I'm going through in life, I'm emotionally isolated. I'm still alone. Internally, I'm all by myself. I'm isolated. Loneliness or disconnection are huge triggers. And the tool for this is simple, right? It's connect. Text a sober friend, listen to a podcast episode, join a Facebook group. Connect on purpose. Number 4 is resentment or anger. Unspoken resentment is a poison. And alcohol used to be your pressure release valve. And the tool I included with this one is to write a burn letter that you never send. This is an incredible tool, and I've seen it used so many times. And I connect you, like I said, to a website that explains it in more detail. Number 5 is guilt or shame. You beat yourself up for what you said, what you did, what you didn't do. Shame is a craving trigger. And on this one, I want you to get out your journal, and here's a journal prompt. What would I say to a friend in this situation? If I called you and started telling you, like, I'm freaking out on myself, I can't believe I did this, I can't believe I let that happen, I didn't follow through on this, what would you say to me? How would you comfort me? Right? I want you to journal this out. What would you say to your best friend if they called you freaking out about this stuff? Then I want you to say that to yourself. I want you to offer yourself the same empathy and compassion you would offer me or your best friend. Number 6, boredom or numbness. This one is sneaky. You're not sad, not mad. You're just flat. This is where that anhedonia kicks in hard. And the tool I put with this one is novelty, right? Something new. Novelty breaks dopamine fog. Try something new, even if it's something tiny. Change your playlist. Drive a different route to work or home from work. Eat lunch outside instead of at your desk or in the cafeteria, whatever. Do something new and different. 7, fear. This is the last one, and it's a big one. Fear of failure, fear of success, fear of rejection, fear of the unknown. We are little balls of anxious-ridden fear all the time. Fear is behind so many self-sabotaging patterns. When you're scared of what's next, your brain wants to retreat to what's familiar. And what's familiar for us is a drink. So that's no bueno. The tool that I included for this one is name the fear. Write down the worst case scenario, then write down your action plan for handling it. Like, really, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? Write it out. And then, okay, if that happens, what the fuck am I going to do about it? Fear shrinks when you face it, right? All of these triggers are real and they are powerful, but you're not powerless. You just need a system. You're only powerless after you have a drink. That's when you lose all control of everything. You just need a system. That's why I created the Emotional Sobriety Survival Kit. So you can stop guessing and start taking back control in these situations. It's totally free. It's linked right in the show notes. Again, inside you get all 7 triggers plus tools you can use right now, not next week, not after a relapse, right now. Go grab it, keep it somewhere visible. This is your new playbook for real relief. addictionunlimited.com/emotional sobriety. The truth is, sobriety gets easier when you stop expecting it to just be about not drinking and start treating it like a process of healing your mind, healing your emotions, and your nervous system. You're not just quitting alcohol. You're learning how to feel, how to cope, and how to respond to life instead of reacting to it. That's emotional sobriety. That's what creates freedom. You don't have to white knuckle your way through this. You don't have to keep wondering, why is this still so hard? You just need the right tools, a solid plan, and someone who knows exactly what you're going through. So download the Emotional Sobriety Survival Kit if you haven't already. And if you're ready for deeper support, book a call with me. We'll talk about what's keeping you stuck and different options I have to get you unstuck for good. You deserve to feel better, okay? And I can help you get there. And that's addictionunlimited.com/call. Of course, all of these are linked in the show notes. You can get there right from your podcast app. I love you guys. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I will see you next week.
You've reached the end of another great episode of the Addiction Unlimited podcast. Candid and honest conversation about addiction and recovery. Be sure to visit us at addictionunlimited.com to join the conversation and access show notes and links to everything we talked about. Love this episode? Please take 30 seconds to subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes to help us improve and give you the information you want. Thanks for listening. See you next week.